Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a video that I once again did not expect to make. You guys can see the title. We're covering Bernard Cornwell's The Empty Throne. This is book 8 in the Saxon Tale series. Just last week I did cover Pagan Lord, which is book 7 in the Saxon Tale series. I wasn't even going to make that video either. I was going to wait to finish the series before I made another Saxon Tales video. But this series has really kept me on my toes as not only a reader but a reviewer as well. There's just this book in particular just had so much originality compared to the last few books that it would be a shame not to cover it in its own video. And so that is what I'm here to do today. In this video, I also have a little bit of a surprise unboxing here to do. Package came in the mail, wasn't expecting it to. So yeah, if you guys do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because I would greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So I think today I'm going to start off with this little box here. I'm gonna grab my pocket knife. We're gonna crack into this. It's been a minute since I did like a live unboxing on the channel or just in general. Oh yeah. And so right here, the reason why I decided to do this video is we have Warlord by Bernard Cornwell. And this is the hardcover, and this is the final book in the Saxon Tales series. Now, I could have very easily gotten the paperback, but as the final book in this series, I just thought it would be a shame if I did not get it in hardcover. I got it cheaper than retail, because I got like a coupon thing on it. So I only paid like about half price on it. And yeah, hopefully I end up getting to this sooner than later. I originally was going to wait until next year to really attempt to finish the series. I was going to try to read a couple of books in the series this year, towards the end of the year. But honestly, with the way that it's been going, I might as well try to finish the series this year. And then next year I can hop into some stuff without feeling like I need to get back to Saxon Tales, because, you know, might as well just finish it and get it over with. Anyways, yeah, we're going to be getting to this sooner than later. I just wanted to show this off while I had the opportunity, and it pertains to this video, so it's a good opportunity. So, getting into the review of Empty Throne here, this book was just different. If you guys remember, I don't know if I talked about it specifically in the last video, but the book ends with Uhtred, with that final battle with Canute. That part I know I did talk about, but it ends with him getting hurt, like bad. He gets stabbed in the ribs, he almost dies, and then in this book it picks up and he's gravely wounded. And he goes most of the book having a serious injury, which hinders him in almost every way possible. Now, after how the last book ended, I wasn't exactly sure how this one was going to pick up, and that seems to be a running theme with these books. Just goes to show how much of an amazing author Cornwell is. He never ceases to keep you entertained and wondering what's going to happen next. But with the last book, it was just crazy. So this takes place the year after the events of that happen, and we start the book with a prologue that follows Uhtred's son, Uhtred Jr. And I wasn't expecting that at all, and I was kind of in the headspace. I was like, is this how the rest of the series is gonna like end up? Like, because Uhtred suffered that injury and is absolutely hindered, is he going to end up like that? He's going to be crippled for the rest of the series, and are we just going to be following Uhtred's son, and then Uhtred still be like a supporting character, but more taking a back seat, and maybe we'd be following his son throughout the rest of the series? That's sort of what I thought and where I thought the story was going. I was mistaken. That's not exactly how it ended up going. The prologue was really cool. I did really enjoy following his son. It was very unique because it's something we hadn't ever seen from Cornwell in this series yet, following any character but Uhtred Sr., of course. So yeah, I mean, that part was just really entertaining. I flew through that prologue. It was just refreshing. Now, once we actually pick up with Uhtred again and follow him through the rest of the story, this really is more different than any of the other books in the series because of that injury that he did sustain. I don't know, it just really puts it into perspective how much older Uhtred has gotten. And I know I said this in the last video, but here, I mean, he's crippled and he's old. You know, this isn't the same young and able Uhtred that we knew from like Pale Horsemen and Lords of the North. This isn't just some young buck Viking who's, you know, making his reputation. This isn't old and jaded and slower. He's losing his edge, and that is an element that I really do like. But he's lost his edge. He hasn't exactly lost his edge. He's still awesome character. He whoops everybody, but he is getting slower and less able. But at the same time, his reputation has followed him through the years. There probably isn't a single person in Britain that doesn't know the name of Uhtred Ragnarsson or Uhtred of Bebbanburg at this point in the story. This book, though, doesn't really have as much of like the normal battle and like high intensity action sequences that the series is known for having. This book is very much, a lot of it is like political scheming and like a lot of talking. I'm gonna be real, this is probably one of the slower books in the series because of that. However, I do think that it wasn't super slow at all. Like, I still breezed through this book. There was a lot of fun scenes and a lot of really interesting politics happening. Some big revelations and, you know, plot turnouts, I guess, were made in like one of the last acts of the story, being like the fate of the Kingdom of Mercia, which, if you guys have read this, you know what I'm talking about. But I mean, that was just crazy. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that. Like, as much as there wasn't like battles and stuff to keep me entertained, there was some just really amazing politics in this book, and it's probably the most political, in my opinion, of the entire series so far as well. My favorite part about this book, though, was definitely the last part, or the last act, or whatever. It was awesome. Basically, Uhtred was stabbed by Canut's sword called Ice Spite, and it's believed to be like this cursed blade. It's made by this specific forge master, and nobody really knows who he is. He's mysterious. He's like known to be like either a demon or a spirit or some sort of god or whatever, a wizard, okay? And they say that he made the sword, he forged it in the frozen fires of hell. He has a few different swords that he's made. Uhtred's son has a sword named Ravenbeak, which he actually took after he beat Sigurd in the previous book, which that was an awesome fight. He took his blade, and it's made by the same creator because it has like a little inscription on it with the dude's name, like a little marking. Anyways, Uhtred was stabbed by this blade, You would think, oh yeah, maybe it's probably healed. He should be fine by now. It's been like a year, but it's like his wound is infected, and it's all gross, and it's still causing him to hurt. Even though it shouldn't at this point, it's still a bright wound where it's always wet and it's gross. It's just disgusting. And they believe that it's because this blade was cursed and somebody is still out there wielding it, because the blade was never recovered from the battlefield, the last book, and they don't know the whereabouts of this sword, so they have to find this mystical sword. Somebody has it, and somebody's imbuing it with magic of some sort of malice that is causing Uhtred this pain. And that's something that I've always enjoyed about the Saxon Tale series, is that this is very much a historical fiction series that's grounded in reality. However, there are these elements of fantasy that more rely on like folklore and mythology and religion, but they almost seem magical in nature, like cursed blades and spirits and whatnot, and prophecy and curses and all this stuff, right? It's not like magic, but it's like pagan folklore or Christian folklore even, all these things, and I think that that's really interesting. So one could even say that this might even be like a very soft fantasy, but it's not. It's historical fiction, and that's one of my favorite parts, and has been one of my favorite parts about the series. I remember when I was younger, I was reading the first book, and I was confused as a 7th grader, because I was under the impression that this is supposed to be like a historical fiction series, but Uhtred was talking about how giants used to walk the earth. And then, it later on occurred to me that that's just what they believed, and it's the folklore, their religion, their mythology that led them to think that way. But this is, like I said, historical fiction. And on this journey to find this mystical sword, they end up going to Wales, which was really cool. The series really feels like it's starting to branch out as far as like world building goes. Now, this isn't the first time Uhtred has gone to Wales, and it's not the first time that he's left Britain and gone to another country. Of course, he's pretty sure he went to Scotland in one of the previous books. I can't remember, it was either Burning Land or Death of Kings. I can't remember which one, but it's not the first time he's gone to another country. But one thing that was really intriguing was when Uhtred went to Wales this time, there was this talk about how, he's in Wales and they're disconnected from Britain and Britain's conflicts with the Danes and all that. They share certain conflicts and they do fight each other sometimes, but they have their own stuff going on. And so when Uhtred goes to Wales and they're talking about their own conflicts and stuff, he has no idea who's who, and all these people, like I said, they just have their own thing going on. And it really almost feels like, obviously they have their own history and they're stepping into this other culture and this other country's politics. And it almost feels like if you've ever played like a large open world video game and you've been confined to this one area for most of the game, and the world suddenly just opens up and you can explore all of this other area. To me, that's sort of the vibe I got reading this, and I thought that was, again, really refreshing and also very, very intriguing. That's all I'm going to say about this book. I don't want to give away too much specific plot stuff. Again, just more of a general discussion of why I think that this book was refreshing and a good change of pace in a lot of ways from previous installments and what it did right. Again, I'd say something that it suffered from just a little bit was it being slower and not as battles, it's not as action packed as the other ones. Some of the parts were a little bit sloggy, but overall, I mean, those parts didn't last for long. You might skim like half a page through like some boring detail stuff, where it's just Cornwell going off and going into detail about something that doesn't really matter. But you pick right back up, and the story is awesome again. So it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, Empty Throne. As I do with all these books, it's a 5 out of 5. Read Saxon Tales. It's a banger. So anyways, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and also be sure to join the official Discord server down in the description with the link below. That would be awesome. We would love to have you talk about some books, video games, and whatnot. Some manga even. I don't know if I'm going to continue to cover Saxon Tales, like book by book. But if the series continues going how it has been, that might just be what I do. So every time I finish a Saxon Tales book, just cover it, you know. I wasn't expecting to do that, of course, but that's just how it worked out. So if you guys do enjoy me talking about this series, be sure to leave a like and tell me in the comments what you guys think. If you have already read the series, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, that's going to be about it for today's video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.